Our next guest has launched a new think tank and advocacy group to advance former President Trump's America First agenda and to combat voter fraud and big tech censorship. Joining us tonight is Russ Vought, former director of the Office of Management and Budget and president of the Center for American Restoration Action. Russ, it's good to have you with us, and congratulations on the new organizations. And their purpose is straightforwardly America First, the president's agenda to preserve it. That's a tall, and tough order.
It is. Thanks for having me on, Lou. We want to stand for the proposition that this president stood for, which was that we're America and we have a people that are for God, are for this country, and for community. And we want to make sure we are ending endless wars. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to participate in social media without their views being censored, that they can trust in fair elections, that they can have immigration enforcement so that we don't have amnesty, and to not have a war on energy like you just mentioned, and this administration is already redeclaring the war on energy. And so these are the types of issues that the president fought for. We're going to continue to fight on behalf of those issues from an America First perspective, this new administration is giving us a ton of proposals that we need to battle back.
I guess a lot of people would say one thing that we are blessed with in this country is a capital city filled with think tanks and donor money gushing toward them to drive the agenda. How is this going to work differently? Because we have had a border that the president succeeded in securing against illegal immigration in large measure because of his relationship with Manuel Lopez Obrador, with his bold statements about and actions against the cartels. This president means to leave that border wide open, means to, as every other nation with any sense is securing its borders because of the China virus pandemic. This president, in his wisdom, has decided to open it wide to refugees, illegal immigrants, and smugglers of all sorts. It doesn't make a lot of sense. What can a think tank do here to help? As we're watching a president who has all of the power and every instinct to send an executive order flying on a moment's notice, despite what he said.
It's a great question. This is going to be an action center that's designed to rally the 70 million people across this country that support President Trump's ideas, the America First agenda, and to rally them to participate in the elective process, to be able to work with their members of Congress, to provide accountability, to use the very tight margins in the House of Representatives and in the United States Senate to be able to push for legislation that puts pressure on the Biden administration. We believe that this is going to be something that is always going to be oriented towards the fight. We intend to be fearless, faithful, and frugal with any resources that we are given to be invested into the fight. And we're not going to take corporate money because we want the fight to be always generated from where the will of the American people is and where the Biden administration is pressing at the lines. And we want to fight it there and not based on any kind of agenda that's given by donors.
Well, that's a noble aspiration. At the same time, it's pretty clear corporate America has made a decision. They're not going to give money to anyone who challenged. They're not going to give any money to Republicans, period, I believe. That's where we are. And I believe that somebody's going to have to make a decision about just where corporate America should be in our elections. And I would hope that your think tank would consider whether or not corporate America should be involved in our elections. Who's made this decision, and how much are we going to put up with it? Because the president is a populist, and he may at various points been a reluctant populist, but he is a populist. And to square it up with your fundraising is wonderful. But the fact is, the corporate America, big tech, Wall Street, the chamber, the business roundtable, by the time you get through with the U.S. multinationals, they swamp, and the oligarchs, of course, of Wall Street and Silicon Valley, they swamp every interest in the country. How do you balance that? How do you create a countervailing force against that? Because that's what the American people need.
I think you raise a very important issue. For the long time, the conservative movement has stood for the free market system. And unfortunately, right now, we have big businesses that are aligned, for the most part, with the state. And to the extent that we have that system, we have to come up with new ideas to address that. And the way to do that is to not be indebted to those corporations, the way to have fresh ideas and creative thinking about ways to be able to ensure that we have freedom in this country. It comes from being able to think creatively and to do what President Trump did, which was to get up every single morning, fight for the American people, align with our principles, but figure out what is the moment that this country is facing right now and to come up with policy ideas for the moment.
Well, Russ, we wish you a lot of luck. The country needs exactly what you've articulated. We appreciate it. Russ Vought, thanks so much, and congratulations again. We look forward to talking to you soon. Up next.